ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So this is right up my alley because I love me a good ghost story, and I have been having the time of my life watching these videos, but I figured I would share my experience. So this actually happened when I was 2 years old, y'all. Yeah, 2. So that tells you just how scared I was and the effect that this had on me. My sister was there, and my sister is 8 years older than me, so she remembers, you know, this experience. And I remember we were talking one day, and I was describing the living room setup to her, and she basically confirmed that, I was correct. So I remember this pretty vividly. Like, this was one of my earliest childhood memories. But I guess I'll start by describing the living room setup. So I'm standing in the hallway. And I guess you could say behind me, the way I'm sitting now, would be the hallway. So my back is facing the hall. Now, to the front and left side of me is my sister sitting in the love seat, and her back is kind of toward me because she was sitting like kind of sideways, and she was doing something in her notebook. And then across from me is my dad, and he's sitting in the long couch. And then to the right of me is the wall where, the TV is, basically. So I'm in the entrance of the hallway looking out into the living room. So there's nothing behind me but the hallway, and then, the bedrooms and all of that. And my brother's bedroom was on the right side. My sister's bedroom was on the left side. But everything behind me is dark. Nobody had any lights or anything on behind me. So keep in mind, at the time, y'all, we were watching Poltergeist. Now, I don't know why my family would have us watching stuff like that when we were really young, but that's what was on the TV at the time. And mind you, this was like 94. I was born in 92. So anyway, I am, I guess, playing around or whatever, and I stand there in the entrance, and you know how you're sitting somewhere and you can feel somebody walk up on you, like they're sneaking up on you real quietly or something. Well, it felt like that. Of course I couldn't see it because it was behind me, but I could feel it. And I felt the presence of something walk up on me. And I remember it being cold, and I was afraid to move. So I was like frozen in fear. And y'all, whatever this thing was, decided to reach out and grab my right shoulder. And at that point, I guess my fight or flight kicked in because I darted across the living room and jumped right into my dad's lap. And I remember saying, "Dad," and we called him Dad, not Dad. I was like, "Dad, that was a ghost, wasn't it?" And he was like, "Yeah." Now, I asked my sister, like, how in the world did I even know at 2 that it was a ghost? And she's like, well, we were watching Poltergeist. So I guess that's how I do. But my dad was very gifted and, could see spirits and things like that. So he wasn't afraid, but he did see it because he was sitting in the chair facing toward the hallway. So when it came up behind me, he saw it. And I guess he said, you know, like, what in the name of God do you want? And it decided to go back into my brother's room. The interesting thing though, y'all, is that my dad said that it looked like my grandfather, my mom's dad, but he hadn't passed away yet. And he didn't pass, I don't think, until maybe I was 3. So he wasn't there long after, but he hadn't passed away at that time. So it's like he could have been visiting in spirit form, you know, he was still here. But I thought that was interesting. Now, the real shocker is my mom said that she was in my brother's room in the closet cleaning up or something one day, and far back into the closet, she found a old suicide letter. So, yeah, I don't know who that was or why it would decide to grab a little 2-year-old's shoulder. Like, I don't know, but it scared the crap out of me. And yeah, that was like my first experience with a ghost.